everything like that. I can deliver the good scripture. So I hope everybody's having a good Sunday and everything like that or whatever. I thought I'd do the video from a different perspective this time instead of just right in my face. So if this is kind of eerie, let me know in the chat room as y'all chime in or whatever. I'll switch it around. I want to talk about DaBaby. That always happens. Somebody calls me right when I'm doing a live. I have to call him back. The unfortunate thing about DaBaby is, DaBaby made some statements, if y'all not familiar with it, do a Lollapalooza. It's the first time Lollapalooza has been back on track since before the pandemic. And so with that being said, this is lucky for Lollapalooza that those artists were willing to take the risk to come out there and perform during Lollapalooza based on the circumstances that were going on. Hey, what's going on? So I want to emphasize that first of all. Now, if you're not familiar with what Lollapalooza is, it's usually a yearly festival if the pandemic wasn't happening. That artists, they attend and they go to it and they perform with the heights of getting recognized by some big figures. You know what I mean? Bigger figures than what they initially went after in most cases. And bigger venues once you're on that circuit. You got to be chose. Oh, you got to be chose. Oh, you got to get chosen in this process. Oh, yeah, please believe that. Excuse me while I take off my other shoe. You got to be chosen in the process. So, Lollapalooza, make no mistake about it, is a big deal. But you definitely got to get chose for that. DaBaby made some comments on stage. They were taken in the fashion of homophobia. Okay. What's going on? I told y'all I was coming back, y'all. All right, and I'm gonna get to all y'all questions and everything. Just give me 1 second. DaBaby made a mistake of getting on stage and making some comments about the LBGT community in the fashion of, and I think he has a right to do it. I don't think that you should be involved in this cancel culture type of dynamic where you have people that want to be like, you know, boo hoony hoo hoo. He says something I don't like, so let's get him off the stage. You know what I mean? You know, you got people that, and it depends on the severity of it too. You know, nobody hates the LBGT community, but for some reason or another, and I'm not gonna say me, but I'm gonna say in immediate circles. If anything, I see more so, especially when it comes to black women, is black people supporting the LBGT community, which the LBGT community has many of races within it. Oh yeah, you heard me right. They have many of races within it. I did a video, I think it was 2 years ago, and I have to find it. And I was in Manhattan, and this was way after they had their parade and everything. They have a parade yearly in New York, and I lived in Manhattan at the time, so it wasn't unusual for me to be in Manhattan. It was not like I came from another borough and came to Manhattan. So I sat there and I was trying to just figure out for myself. Hold on 1 second, y'all. For some reason I got disconnected. I ended up running into, I think it was like 4 of them. They were walking down the street and I was walking the opposite way. And one of them called me something from Eddie Murphy or some shit like that. And I said, the fuck, what? But he said it in a sexual manner. And I was like, yo, homie, I don't give a fuck if you with your boyfriend. I told him just like this, and I say it on camera. Look, homie, I don't care if you was with your boyfriend or whatever. I wouldn't even said nothing to you two. You know? I've had other instances where I've heard gay people mutter the words or insinuate something black. I've heard friends, like I said, I have some friends in the LBGT community, and they told me about, what's the name, obstacles they come up racially against within this community itself as well. You know what I'm saying? Being black or being Latin, both. Even certain events they're excluded from. I've heard that argument a couple of times. So it does exist. So, you know, you got people, once again, like I was giving an example of, you got people that once again were oppressed, now being the oppressor. You know? It came down on Baby for this. And T.I. chimed in. I like what Bootsy had to say. I like what a couple other people had to say behind closed doors, including friends that I know are still in the music industry. So I say this, and this is my interpretation of it. I listened closely to what T.I. and Lil Bootsy had to say. And the reason I said that expeditiously, and I'm going to read y'all comments in a second. Just give me a second, guys. And please hit those like buttons. I'm going to read y'all comments, but what I'm trying to say here is I liked how they responded the best. And the reason I liked the way they responded, because they responded like true Southern gentlemen. See, as I'm watching these two guys get older, I'm talking about T.I. and Bootsy. I'm going to tell you a quick story about Bootsy. Let me take this key off my neck. Because every time I'm sitting here talking to y'all, it feels like it's weighing like 30 pounds. I'm trying to put it over to the camera. Wow, that's so much better. It was smacking me in my face. What's the name? I saw a video with Lil Bootsy, and I believe it was doing Father's Day. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. And I looked at the video, and it was all his kids. I didn't know Bootsy had those many damn kids, first of all. Bootsy got a lot of damn kids. It was all his kids gathered, and they had made a video for him. And man, Bootsy was crying in the video, man. I ain't never seen Lil Bootsy cry. So one time when that motherfucker got out of jail, he beat that murder charge, you know. So I know that that's a laughing matter, but it's just the fact that I like Lil Bootsy as an artist. I seen Lil Bootsy's come up. That was definitely my year. You know what I'm saying? Seeing Bootsy come up. Webby as well. I remember the movie him and Webby was in together. I always thought there should be a part 2 to that. Lil Webby and just put in Lil Webby and Bootsy movie. Lil Webby and Lil Bootsy movie. That was one of the best movies I ever seen. That shit should have made the fucking the screens. You know what I mean? Across the nation. They didn't get distributed right. This got distributed via at the time was disc. Bootsy got emotion. Bootsy's got a natural thing with him. T.I. has got emotion. He's got a natural thing with him too, but his emotion is placed in the right places. And I think DaBaby, be it from North Carolina, he fits that foray too. Admitted this plain spoken. See, they plain spoken. They tell you how it is. This is the way it is. They're not worried about your sensitivity, like so many are nowadays. You know, we're all offended by the fact they're offended someone. Offended by the fact they're offended someone. There's nothing wrong with telling a motherfucker. And yeah, if you're new to my channel, I always curse, guys, so that's what it is. And guys, if you don't like this camera angle, let me know, type it in, and I'll move the camera. If you can't hear me, let me know. But I've got the mic hooked up, but if you can't hear me, let me know, all right? I just like to try different setups, as you can see. So, you know what I mean? See what works the best or whatever. But I try to give you guys something at least visually that's appealing. Plus, I can work off this light very well. So, DaBaby and all these guys are plain spoken men. And I like to see I don't even care what party they're from, I like to see some of our senators that do the same, that are still plain spoken men. Even if I don't agree with it, I like the gumption of the fact that they're still plain speaking men. I think there needs to be more men like that in this country, aside from these assimilated dummies that we got. You know what I'm saying? That's what it really is. It boils down to a bunch of simulated dummies. You're so caught in the sauce, you can't even realize that something's being brought to you than what it is. And what Bootsy and all of them said in the videos that was unilateral was like, everybody ain't with that shit. Everybody's not with that shit. Everybody's not to the contention that my 3rd grader or my 4th grader should be learning about the difference between sexes and how they're attracted to each other. First of all, my kids shouldn't even be worried about sex ed until I feel 7th or 8th grade. You guys know what I mean? So it's like, I don't want my kid in that situation. I don't want my kid being introduced to any type of sexuality until I feel fit or the moment comes that I can't control it anymore within the dynamic and environment I'm in, or socially, or even plainly, most effectively, most of the time for my kid, ironically, going to school. So what DaBaby and T.I. and Bootsy were trying to emphasize was, not were they just saying something that was anti-LBGT or whatever you want to call it, right, guys? It was more so telling everybody this. Everybody's not with that shit, meaning socially. Now, you're free and proud to do and, you know, practice whatever type of sexuality practice you practice within the privacy of your home, another one's home, and your social. That is your perpetuized right. But it goes back to the video I did before. If y'all haven't checked it out, I've done 2 now on this guy. Lil Nas X. Goes back to that. You are trying to, in some cases, not the whole LBGT community. That's fucking dissing people. We're not saying that. But there's a segment that sees a financial tag with their message. And that financial tag is great. You know what I mean? It's great. It's in high demand. It's a rotation for it. And then as soon as you jump on it, you can make money off of it. Oh, there's a lot of money to be made. I forgot what the revenue was that came in for this year's parade in New York City. But I'm sure it'll be in this month's numbers. Some form of fashion of it anyway. Maybe not fully for the fiscal, but for the fiscal year usually has a lot more detail. I ain't been out the music business that long. Let me see what y'all saying here. Hey, Net, what's going on? That's my girl right there. Oops. I look like a fucking vampire when I'm looking like this, right, guys? I've been there. Uh-huh. Hey, what's going on? Hey, Roxanne. Glad the crew here. You know what I'm saying? I had no problem with what DaBaby or any of these gentlemen said, really, because everybody isn't with that shit. And it's a contention you got to come to grips with. You know what I'm saying? Just like, as I gave you for example, everybody's not with Black Americans or Black Latinos either. Include motherfuckers that look like you. And I keep telling people, you know, watch what you advocate for, because it might come back to haunt you. I don't want a nation full of children that feel that either one of the sexualities is an importance to them at a certain age range. I don't want that. I don't want my child really to have any contention or thought of sex, because what that promotes is premature pregnancies. Not just homosexual practices, but heterosexuals as well. These kids are experimenting. You see what I'm saying? They doing all kinds of shit. Ain't nothing you can do to stop it. It's their culture. It's like there were cultures beforehand or whatever. And I'm not trying to stop it. What I'm just saying is slow it a little bit fucking down with the imagery and the promotion so heavily. And the influence that comes along, what I'm finding more and more in the high schools and middle schools of high schoolers and middle schoolers that are promoting, well, let's say, the lifestyle on others or making it popular to a fraction. I don't agree with that. And I see a lot of parents across the nation speaking up against this. And I have to say, as many of you don't like conservatives, I'm either a conservative, Republican, Democrat, conservative, Democrat. But I do agree with both on certain issues. Issues of tier, issues of paramount, those issues you will see me involved in. All the little ruckus buckus shit, I'm not into that. You know what I'm saying? I'm a business owner. So I don't care how many people look at it and see it, but in 10 or 15 years from now, if not sooner, you're gonna start to see the implications of what the extreme part of it promoted. A new form of thinking. And some people are gonna be cool to the fact of having their kids open to everything or whatever. Now, like I said, I say this with no hate. It's not about hate. I know people in that community, so I would never hate them. Kidding me? Like, some of them are dear friends, and they will even say the same thing to you, because many people in the LGBT community have had a problem with the influence that Lil Nas X has had and the imagery. I watched the whole gay man just because I wanted to watch it. I watched pause, but I watched the whole gay man sit there and give his diatribe on Lil Nas X right here on YouTube, and it wasn't in positive. And I think there's a difference between like the acceptance of the age ranges when it comes to the LGBT community as well, So I don't know, man. I just hope, I really extremely hope that DaBaby, and I also hope the T.I., and I also hope the little Bootsy don't see no repercussion from this cancel culture trying to cancel these men. For what? What are we canceling them for? Some of y'all need to be canceled to talk about canceling people. To tell you the truth, how about that? We need to cancel some of the people that talk about canceling people. I think that's a better movement. We need to cancel some of the people that are talking about canceling people because they said something that you didn't like. Oh well. But these same people want to go around and be able to say what the fuck they want to say to whoever. I don't see the symmetry there. I don't see it. Baby, this will pass. I know it'll pass. It always passes. Things like this always pass. So, excuse me, guys. This will pass for him. But the blunt aggression and things like that, especially for black women, was surprised because a lot of these black women would listen to his music prior to the statement being made. They seem the most offended for some reason. I don't know why, but they do. So, with all being said and done with this subject, baby, just hold your hand. This will pass. You'll be all right. All right, so moving on to this. What did I think of the Shyne and Diddy interview? Y'all excuse me, I got the hiccups right now like a motherfucker. The Shyne and Diddy interview. I thought it was interesting. I was there at the label when all that shit happened. With Shyne, and I tell y'all this about 3-4 times, with Shyne and the shootout and everything. I was at the label. You know what I mean? I remember us having board meeting about the marketing of Shyne, with Shyne in the room. You know what I'm saying? We did this in this big, huge office that Puff had. We had a big, huge ass round table and one fucking phone. Whole office had one black phone, one of those square phones. And I remember that meeting, and it was interesting. Shyne was a gangster, real deal gangster. Still got the shotgun shells in his shoulder. Now Shyne, with some monetary help to get back on. I want to emphasize that. Oh my God, I got the burps right now. Hold on 1 second, y'all. I ate something that didn't agree with me at all. Give me 1 second. Excuse me, y'all. I'm sorry. I was gross. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me. Like this. We'll do this. I got the burps like a mug. I can't eat everything. Can't eat everything. Oh, fuck. Excuse me. There we go. This Shyne and Diddy interview. I'm sorry about all the grossness too for y'all that I tripped out. I just couldn't be avoided. This Shyne and Diddy interview was real interesting for me because I don't know. I've seen them together in the past and it was interesting. But at the same time, this looked like a little brown nosing was involved from Puff's perspective, like he was shocked. Because I did the history on this Shyne thing. Guys, you know what? I got some wicked indigestion. Let me take care of that. And I'm going to come back, I promise you.